stay at the top, keep on winning. Coming seasons over. We're on the right track. Going 20 miles per hour, we don't look back.
This is iRacing.
Days of racing, and it has all come down to this. After tonight, there will be a field set. There will be a super session ready. Welcome to the final qualifying shootout for the Crandon Championship here at Crandon International Raceway, the big house in Crandon, Wisconsin. My name is Keenan Kuzin, and for the first time this week, I am joined here by Joey Atterbury. Joey, you are no stranger to these Pro 4 trucks, and you've been a part of this broadcast team this week. What can we expect tonight now, with this being the last chance for some of these drivers to race their way into the super session tomorrow?
Well, you just nailed it. It's the last chance to get into that super session, so I think we're going to see some aggressive racing. We're going to see some extremely good racing at the front, and then most importantly, it's going to be fun, right? What's fun than the big house 900 horsepower Pro 4 trucks? It will be a fun time.
Yeah, and we see some names here that we haven't seen yet this week. Big one is last year's winner and your former Pro Series champion, Connor Berry. Took time out of his busy racing schedule. Should be at Crandon in real life right now, but he's jumped into sim and see if he can drive his way in and make his way into the top split super session tomorrow. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we've had tons of racing action this week. Thank you so much for joining us throughout the week, but it has all come down to this. This is our last chance to earn some points and race your way into that top split. Once again, we take the top 20 trucks in finishing points, and we will take those and move them into these super sessions tomorrow.
It's going to be just an action-packed couple days, not only what we've seen previously, but the next couple, and this is exactly what we're going to be seeing in terms of the format that's going to be racing on this dirt track. The Dirt Road C-Class, that means you can have that C-Class license. If you have a strong safety rating, you can participate as well. You heard me mention it's the Pro 4 trucks, those Lucas Oil Off-Road Pro 4, 900 horsepower, and we are racing at Crandon International Raceway. The full course, not the short course, so you better get used to that land rush start. We've already had 6 qualifying sessions. We're on session number 7 here during the week. The super sessions, they're fielded by the highest points scored in one qualifier. So that strength of field, that's what we're looking for, the top split here to score the most amount of points. And of course, the drivers with 0 points will be added at the end.
So a little bit of drama after this. Today's race, Crystal King is now in control of the points lead to see who will be making that top 20. Some names that are now from the outside looking at Daniel Solo. He is not in today's, he's actually in today's session, so he's trying to get himself a little bit more safe. But those bottom 5 are going to be in the danger zone because this is the most competitive top split race that we've had all week, Joey.
Yeah, that strength of field is definitely showing up right now. So these points definitely going to shake up. But like you said, you're looking at the top 20. That's where you want to ideally be. But with this strength of field, remember, when we say strength of field, that's that I rating. That's the I rating from each one of these drivers. The stronger the drivers that show up, the more points that are on offer.
And you can't have anyone stronger than Connor Berry. Again, your former season champion. Reached out to him today and said, you know what? I've got some time in my schedule. I got to head to Crandon this weekend, but why not jump in the sim and head to Crandon tonight? And just in case, I've got some time in between my busy racing schedule. So keep an eye out for that number 1 truck because he's only got one shot to be able to make it into the Pro Series. Speaking of the truck that we'll be driving, like you said, Joey, it is a 410 cubic inch monster, 900 horsepower, 6-speed manual transmission, 4-wheel drive, and a paltry 4,000-pound machine that are a beast to try and tackle around this Crandon course. Again, this is one of the most, if not the most sacred venue, as you said, the big house, which I forgot to call it all week, in short course racing in North America. And this is the Daytona for short course racing.
Pretty cool. And speaking of Crandon, it's located in Crandon, Wisconsin. Take a look at this 1.5 mile, 8-turn track map. Like you said, known as the Big House, Potawatomi turn number 1. We are going to be watching it on these starts because we do have that land rush start. That means everybody is going to be starting from the stop all the way down there at the end of that cowboy hairpin. And then also a couple key corners here. The gravel pit made famous from reverse entries. You got to have high commitment. And then Calamity Corner, the final corner on this track, you can steal away a win.
We've seen drama all week in both Gravel Pit and Calamity Corner. Of course, our last race that we saw, Crystal King trying to get the job done on Joel Blewett. And Joel Blewett said absolutely not in Calamity Corner. But we will have 2 races for you tonight. Our 6-lap sprint, which will set the order for our 10-lap feature. And, of course, lone qualifying 7 minutes or 3 laps, which really helps out these Pro 4 drivers with that wide arc they have to take into Calamity Corner to get that lap started.
So this is going to be very, very interesting with this top split up here with all 20 trucks in practice right now, because I'm noticing Connor Berry is actually at the end of the field, and just as I say that, he jumped from P17 all the way up to P1 in practice. So, hey, maybe he's out there. I thought he was maybe setting up a little bit of a race setup. It turns out he's just kind of waiting on that speed a little bit.
And as much as Connor is an institution of the dirt road scene, especially the short course scene, we've got some really strong and former pro drivers here in the field. Obviously, Crystal King, your current points leader, Nicholas Dachelet, Tyson Miller, Trenton Briley's made it out here. Some drivers we've seen all week as well, Evan McFarland, Cody Vanderveer. And then you have some drivers on the outside looking in. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Daniel Solo is 20 out of 20 right now. So obviously any sort of good finish for Daniel will help him secure his spot into the Super Sessions tomorrow.
I think that any finish out of any one of these drivers, I'm seeing, Keenan, are you seeing this? Nearly 6,000 iRating is the strength of field out here. Connor Berry with 9,000 plus, Thad with 9,000 plus. I mean, it is unreal, the skill level that is showing up.
And those who may be a little bit more for the asphalt world, 6,000 sounds like pretty good. That is insane for dirt road. That is your usual average strong strength of field race is somewhere between 4,000 and 4,500. So really, really strong field out here. A ton of black license owners, some of those pro drivers from the last Pro Series in 2023. Stoked to see them back out here in a position where they belong in Crandon International Racing in the short course. Obviously not the only stream we've done this week. Big thank you to those who came out this week and watched some of the World of Outlaws coverage that we did. Again, you can pre-order that right now at worldofoutlaws.game.com. It will release on September 17th with 3-day early access with that gold edition. You can check it out right now. Again, once again, for Xbox and PlayStation as well. Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, and even Linux. We got to check out and preview and talk to some developers behind Exocross. So if you like some dirt, I know I've seen a lot of people from the dirt community checking out Exocross and going, wow, that looks like a lot of fun. Again, it's available basically anywhere a good video game is sold. And pick that up right now. Exocross, the game. I don't know. I had a website, but there's no website there. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's good.
Well, Keenan, I think it's going to be about time that these drivers are really going to put their skill on display, because I think practice has officially ended. And you know what comes after practice? Time to qualify.
Again, we got that lone truck qualifying. But before we get there, let's take a look at the race that we had this morning, because again, we had 2 earlier in the day. We were not spoiled. As you see, that big 10 wide funnel down on the Potawatomi turn 1 from that land rush start. Other than Daniel Solo going roller skating over the wall there, a bit of a tame start, but all the battles were for the lead. 3 truck battles for the lead, side by side, 3 wide. Cody Vanderveer trying to take some body panels off of the hood of vehicles. It was mayhem all throughout the field.
And I think what I noticed this morning is these front 3 trucks, and really it was the front 2 trucks here with Crystal especially, look at how clean they were. There was a few elbows that came out at the very, very end, but you look at the front pack compared to that middle pack, when you get there in the middle of the field, you really got to race hard. These trucks up at the front, they're playing pretty nice.
That's the difference between the practice or the qualifier sessions, the shootout sessions, and what's going to happen tonight. No more kindness. You don't have to see any of these drivers anymore until it is time for the super sessions where the gloves are fully off. It's only been getting rougher, the racing's only been getting more intense, and now that this is the final chance, the last dance before we move into the super sessions tomorrow, I don't think we're going to see drivers playing nice at the front, especially when you've got 2 or 3 pro drivers that haven't run one race this week that need to race their way in.
I love seeing all the fenders hanging off of this. Look at this right here, 4 wide. Coming out of that turn, headed down towards the Cowboy hairpin where the action continues on, and they're just all kind of nudging each other. And I guarantee you that every single one of these guys and gals out there, they got a smile on their face when they climb out of these pro trucks. I know you've been racing them all week. You've been covering them all week. A lot of people, they're familiar with road racing and oval racing on iRacing. I think the dirt road stuff is extremely underrated, and oh my gosh, it's fun.
Yeah, and I think the best thing to describe here is, again, just a little bump from Joel Blewett to be able to get the win over Crystal King. A little bit of drama with Crystal King actually ended up taking the win on this one. But even she was in chat saying, you know what, he got me. No bad blood, no ill will. Just kind of all is fair in love and dirt road is something that I love to say to people. It's something you kind of have to expect with this discipline of racing, of where you're going to get the bumper once or twice. You're going to get hip checked here and there. But as long as everyone crosses the line in one piece, again, it's all's fair in love and dirt road. So, well, it's not too far off, especially considering how our last race went.
So we're riding on board with the #1 truck right now. We've been talking about this driver, Connor Berry, extremely successful here in the virtual world, also very successful in the real world of off-road racing. And this is turn #2 here. I like to call it Darlington because you have a little bit of a couple lines here, Keenan. When it's all slick like this, you'll see a lot of these drivers go down to the narrow side, the inside, but when it starts to get rutted out, that top line can carry tons of momentum.
Yeah, you're going to see that difference where drivers are running up towards the wall, using the banking to kind of slingshot off the corner going into gravel pit, and then you'll see some drivers that did what Connor Berry did, kind of going inside, using that banking to get the truck suspension, the big travel on this suspension, to compress and getting that exit speed. Connor Berry lighting up the timing charts. I believe the first 14 that we've seen all week. You got to imagine that he knew what he was coming in here to do. That is Connor Berry so far to the top of the timing charts.
But are you seeing the top 3 here, Keenan? We got Connor, Nicholas, and Crystal all within 200s, and now include Dane Culver, the top 4, all within 5/100ths of a second. That's extremely close for a 1.5 mile, 8-turn dirt road course. You know, usually at Lime Rock Park, a pavement course, we can see stuff that close, but holy smokes, it is tight.
And you got to keep in mind, too, Joey, there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. There's a lot of ways to take this track and lines that you can take with the bank corners, some choosing to go higher, some choosing to go lower. So the fact that you could put a playing card in between the top 4 and such an interesting top 4. You've got Connor Berry, the institution, Nicholas Dashley, his partner in crime in the iRacing Short Course Series in that league. So they're nose to tail. Crystal King was almost your regular season champion. She's been up towards the front in every race that we've seen this week. And then Dane Culver, a fairly new name to the scene, has skyrocketed his way up, not just into the top 5, but knocking on the door of potential podium, maybe even a win here this evening.
That's a heck of a first lap as we're riding on board with William Findling right now. This is headed down into the gravel pit. You know, this corner made famous from Kyle LeDuc. There are reverse entries in there with the Pro 4 trucks. If you've never seen it, definitely go look up footage of Kyle. He was just a master behind these pro trucks. And then into Calamity Corner, which is actually the final turn here before the start-finish line. See what this number 17 actually puts down on the board, as actually looks like he's going to start another lap here.
Yeah, he's going to have to. Ended up tapping that inside wall in Calamity Corner. We've seen issues there today as well. The line around that corner is not your traditional racing line. Because there's four-wheel drive in these trucks, you get in tight early and you ride the inside of the corner the whole way around. But the risk you run is tapping that wall, which is inconvenient in a race. We've seen Terry Miller end up going for a ride earlier this week, but in qualifying, obviously that's going to invalidate your time. And William Findling is one of those drivers, Joey, that's on the outside looking in. At this point, do you just kind of accept that maybe you're not getting a time and you'll be able to start on the outside of that back row and watch the chaos in front of you?
I think that's kind of what you have to do, because we've only got a minute and a half left, and in order to really go get a lap in at Crandon, you got to get up to speed, you got to get by the start finish, and then you have to start the lap. Now, all of the drivers have 3 official laps to put the time in. So typically what we'll see is a driver do 1 hot lap, bail out, get a new truck, new tires, and then come back and do that 2nd and 3rd lap. And so just going to have to kind of wait and see for the next minute, because all those fast trucks inside the top 4, including Oliver Golding right here inside the number 18, is going to be putting down their 2nd and final timed lap.
That's so crazy to me. Oliver's been, because all the trucks are based off of iRating, so the higher the number, the lower the iRating. Oliver's been in the top 10 in iRating in every split that we broadcasted all week. And on the topic of Oliver, his best friends of Tyson Miller and Evan McFarland are also in this race, and they've been beating the absolute heck out of each other in every race that they've had. They were part of that big blender that we had this morning. Again, here is your top 20 in points. You're going to have to keep an eye on people like William Findling, 16th position. He needs a good finish here to make sure he's safe and in. Miles Morse is not on this list because he's on the outside looking in. He's the 16 truck in this race. Zach Blanche as well, one of those drivers. James Burke trying to find his way in. Daniel Solo is the keeper of the bunch. He would love a solid top 10 finish here to make sure he finishes in that top 20.
And I think the big key here is that if you are outside of the top 20 in points right now, this graphic that we're looking at, and you are here in this race, you have a great chance at making it in. So you got to capitalize on the opportunities that are given to you.
Yeah, and of course, it depends if you show up. If you're 22nd, 23rd, you could still get into the top split of the Super Session. And on top of that, there's still going to be more than one split for the Super Session. But I was talking to another driver. I was talking to Alex Miller, who we saw earlier this week. He said, you know what? I can race 2nd split, 3rd split, 4th split, but I want to be in the broadcast split. I want to be up in the front and racing with the best. So it is still super important to all these drivers. Yes, you can race 2nd split tomorrow and still have a good race and still have something to show for it that you were one of the top 40 drivers in this discipline this week, but making that top split alone is an accomplishment.
I think if you ask any driver, it doesn't matter if you're a dirt road driver, an oval driver, you want to compete against the best and you want to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to see how this sprint race is going to shake up. On the pole, Connor Berry with Nicholas Dashley to his left side. Tyson Miller ended up straightening up a good lap. He'll take 3rd place with Crystal King and Dane Culbert to their left as well. Thad Countryman is going to be up there as well on the latter half of that first row of 10 trucks. And Tom Grady, Evan McFarland there too. Oliver Golding going to be starting on the inside of the 2nd row with Matthew Lind right behind his teammate of Evan McFarland. Cody Vanderveer, Trenton Briley towards the back. Surprised to see Trenton Briley, former pro driver that far back, with Daniel Solo, James Burke, Zach Blanche, Greg Johnson, Miles Morse, and Timothy Messimer rounding out the end of our field, with William Findling not getting a time in. Ladies and gentlemen, 19 trucks, 1 corner, and only 20 will make it through to the Super Session. They've got it all to play for as we wait for the green flag. And the lights are on. Here we go. And we are green with this last qualifying race for our Crandon Championship. Not the best start for Connor Berry, but Crystal King with a bit of a hole shot. That's Nicholas Dashley to Connor Berry's outside as they are wide and baiting and banging coming into Potawatomi turn 1.
It is Connor Berry that leads the field into turn number 2. We've got a few trucks turned around. I think one might be on the roof. It looks like everybody's going to avoid that outside berm, some of them up into the wall. But it is Connor Berry in that number 1 truck that's leading the way. Evan McFarland also up there.
Evan, one of the drivers actually that got caught up in that issue, he's going to be stuck on the wall, the K-rail, moving back. We have 3 and 4 wide coming into the Calamity corner. This race technically hasn't even started yet, as I don't think we've seen a corner. We've seen 1 foot of racetrack where these drivers aren't leaning on each other.
And there it is. Now it is really starting to single file out with the top 4. But look at how busy it is through the S section really to start this first lap. It is going to get very, very tight right here through this left-hander. Already a little bit of contact, 3 wide back there.
Dane Culver trying to put the moves on Oliver Golding. Nicholas Dashley side by side with his iRacing short course compatriot of Connor Berry. He gets the move done. Slide job on Connor Berry. That's Dashley to the lead, but Connor Berry's not having it. He's going to try to hang it around the outside.
You can hang tough around turn number 1 here. Connor Berry's going to do that because it's going to put him on the advantageous side of the track here for turn number 2. Watch him slide in front of Dashley. I bet you we're going to try to see an over-under. No, Nicholas sticks to the outside. He's going to try to carry the momentum.
Connor Berry trying to hold strong, coming down in the gravel pit, but Nicholas Dashley with the preferred outside line. Does Connor Berry slide him out, or does Nicholas Dashley go for the over-under? Connor Berry goes wide, Dashley to the inside. This battle is still not over. It's going to be really hard for Nicholas trying to hold around the outside. He opts to drop back in. Connor Berry to the lead.
What's wild about this is these two drivers are hitting, they're banging, they are racing hard, and look at, they've already gapped it out nearly a second over Dane Culver there in 3rd place. So it just shows you how fast these guys really are.
And again, I don't think they're done yet. They're well aware that this is still the sprint race, that all they're fighting now is only going to make it worse for them in the future. Let's get settled. Unless you think you can really pull away from the lead vehicle, let's get settled so we don't have this pack of bees behind them fighting us. That's Trenton Briley, your number 3 truck, trying to make it move, but Tyson Miller, he goes way to the inside. He gets 2 in 1 corner as Oliver Golding pushes him ahead. That's Trenton Briley taking a twofer in the Cowboy corner.
Well, and Keenan, you had mentioned his qualifying effort. You wanted him to be higher up in the field. He had to start way back there in 12th. He's already up 7 positions in the matter of 2 laps right here. So I think that this white number 3, keep an eye, because the next victim on the list is Crystal King, and she's shown already this week that she deserves to be at the front. She's always inside the top 2.
We have a 4-car battle for the lead position. Connor Berry with Nicholas Dashley breathing down his neck. And look who's entered the frame. Dane Culver and Crystal King are catching up as well. We are about to have a 4-way dance to see who takes this sprint race. And if anything happens, Trenton Briley's back there licking his chops, waiting to see if he can make it into the Super Sessions tomorrow.
Just got to be smooth through this middle section of the race, and it is so difficult to be smooth when you're in this lead position like Connor Berry. You've got a truck literally to the inside on your door every single corner. It's just like somebody watching over your shoulder, and guess what? If you don't have the perfect brake marker, you don't have the perfect apex, you're going to lose the lead.
Settling down just a little bit of a door there for Dashley and Connor. Just like you said, what do? Do you go defensive and risk being overtaken in the next corner with no exit speed? Do you go in a little deep, or do you take your normal line and risk someone firing it up the inside and trying to make a move on you? As Nicholas Dashley take a look to the left side, but it's not going to happen. Connor Berry going to go defensive, but now he's going to run wide. Whoops, well, there goes Dane Culver trying to make something happen to the inside. He wants 2nd place from Nicholas Dashley.
Watch that number 10 on the inside. I expect a big old send. There he goes. And look at Dashley try to get to the inside. They're going to both overtake Connor Berry. Connor just got way wide in the gravel pit, falls from 1st to 4th.
Nick and Dane were having their own issue, and Connor Berry was just an unfortunate passenger there. And now Crystal King up to 3rd position, but she's going to have to face the wrath of an angry Connor Berry. Connor is usually calm and collected, but once he gets the red mist, there is no stopping that number 1 truck. So everybody in front of Connor, I would be well aware that you're within his crosshairs.
And speaking of, look at Nicholas Dashley. He says, you know what, I want to run away from exactly what Keenan is talking about as Connor kind of squeezes Trenton Briley up into that outside, that right-hand berm as we head down into the Cowboy hairpin. Let's see who goes wide. Connor Berry just to the inside here, trying to get that drive off of the hairpin, but once again, they just kind of string out into their running order down the straightaway.
Maybe, just maybe, perhaps we're going to see this race calm down just a little bit, even though we are halfway through here on lap 4. Trenton Briley is trying to make Connor Berry nervous. I think Nicholas Dashley just kept his piece of his truck actually goes flying. Trenton Briley to the inside of Connor Berry. Not sure if he's going to get the move done, but if he can keep it side by side in a gravel pit, he's got a way to move Connor back into 5th place. Connor's going to say no thank you, block the inside. Trenton's still trying to make something happen, and Oliver Golding's entered the picture now.
I just love watching these trucks, especially the top strength of field. It really is like a dance out there, and just the pendulum momentum, the swing, the yaw rates. As you see, so much bumping and banging. Short course off-road racing is a contact sport, folks. Connor Berry and Trenton Briley, they're just saying hi to each other.
Yeah, you got to, again, just like short track racing on the oval side, if you're going to make a move like that on somebody, you better hope you can make it stick, and you better hope you don't see that driver again, because you're going to get it back in spades. And Trent just trying to make something happen because he's got Oliver Golding filling up his mirror. Oliver Golding going to take a look to the inside in Cowboy Corner. Does he go for the dive? He sure does. Does he get it done? Gives a little tap to Trenton Briley, and that is Oliver Golding now into your 5th position.
Up 4 positions for himself from that start. And really, it's Oliver and Trenton that are kind of the biggest movers. William Findling's had a good race too, but he's outside the top 10 right now. So I think it's all catch the leader, and Nicholas Dashley has done a good job to run away, but he hasn't completely run away as Trenton Briley and Oliver Golding still battling side by side, heading down into the gravel pit. I expect this white number 3 to really send it up the inside, but oh my goodness, Oliver hanging tough, using that outside berm, trying to get the traction down, and oh, Trenton just barely clears himself.
Both these drivers need a good finish. Oliver needs to secure himself into the Super Sessions and take that pressure off. Trenton Briley is in no man's land, needs a good finish to get into the top 20. This 5th position, especially in the strength of field race, very important to both of them.
Remember, this is the final lap now. Barty waved that green flag. Look at the over-under up front. Dane Culver is getting a tremendous run, heading down into the Cowboy hairpin. And if you're going to send something on the last lap, it's this corner.
He's going to take a look to the outside. See Nicholas Dashley going inside again. This is for starting positions in the feature. Dane Culver gets it done. Inside, outside. He's not going to have the run, though. Dashley with the run on the exit. Can Dane Culver keep his nose in the Potawatomi? Not going to happen. Wonderful move by Nicholas Dashley to hold on to the lead.
Dane Culver is literally tucked up under that flailing bodywork right now. Head through turn number 2, bounce the truck off of those bump stops, and this is the run to the gravel pit. All 4 of the top trucks in the same frame.
Dane Culver going to take his final look. If he's going to do it, it's got to come here into the gravel pit. Dane Culver going low. Nicholas Dashley going high. Dane Culver pulls it off perfectly. He gets the slide job. Can he close the door? He just gets it done. Nicholas Dashley moving into 2nd place. Do we see a move? We see a move from Connor Barry trying to move Crystal King out of the way. They are about 4 wide as they come over the line, and that is going to be Dane Culver with a last lap pass, getting the pole position for the feature race, and they are not even in the points positions yet. What a start to this final qualifying shootout.
Oh my goodness. I think that's what we expected out of a top split strength of field race, and that was only the first 6 laps. We get to line them all up and do it again, Keenan.
Great start for Dane Culver. Needed a good finish. He's got one. He's got the pole for the feature race. Nicholas Dashley got hit by about every truck in the top 5 and kept that 2nd position. Crystal King was quiet but committed in 3rd position. Connor Barry ended up being the victim of a lot of other people's arguments. You're going to have to see him get aggressive in that feature. Trenton Briley, Oliver Golding settled their differences 5th and 6th. Tyson Miller with a quiet race at 7th. Tom Grady also up there in the top 10 with Thad Countryman and Matthew Lind rounding out our top 10.
Across the page, we have Cody Vanderveer finishing in 11th, William Findling in 12th. Good run for that number 17 car. Timothy Messmer in 13th, James Burke, Daniel Solo rounding out the top 15. Then you got Miles Morris back here in 16th, Greg Johnson, Evan McFarland, and Zach Blanche. Those were the 19 trucks that we saw on the racetrack.
So Evan McFarland getting caught up on that K-rail. Basically, your only really big casualty from the land rush start. So he's going to be kind of hoping for some chaos here now. And this is the time it's going to happen. More or less, we've seen very tame runs down into Potawatomi after the land rush start. But again, with all that's on the line, I don't think anybody's going to be nice this time. We saw it in that race. Doors happening, fenders happening, 3 trucks in 1 corner. Again, this is your last chance to earn some points to hopefully make your way into the top split for Super Sessions tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and the big one at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Once again, this is how everybody is making it in here. That C-Class on the dirt road license, Pro 4 trucks here at the full Crandon International Raceway. We are in that final qualifier, number 7 here of that qualifying session, so we're going to be hopping over to the Super Sessions here this weekend on Saturday, starting tomorrow. And of course, it's all about those points getting you into that Super Session. You got to get into the top split, and that's exactly where we are.
Taking a look at the highlights from the sprint race, I guess we're just going to watch the whole thing over again. Because there was battles front to back. This we see Evan McFarland catching a little bit of that wall. But again, if anybody's watched any other races, we called it. It got nasty, and it got nasty fast.
I think what I was pretty surprised about, there's the number 1, Connor Barry being pushed out of the way from 1st to 4th, and then really, once he got back here, he had this battle with Trenton Briley, and he was kind of stuck in no man's land. Now, Connor did fight back up to 4th and finish, I believe, in the 3rd place, but I think he was actually pretty calm the second half of that race, Keenan. I think he's looking forward to the 10-lap feature.
I think what Connor's saying in his head, to quote a movie from the way before he was born, you want to play? Okay, let's play. So I think we're going to see the best of Connor Berry. Again, if he gets a solid top 5, I think that still gets his way into the Super Sessions. But it's about proving a point. Trust me, he loves the fact that he's number 1. He loves the fact that he calls himself the champ. And he's got all the rights to do it. He's your former champion, one of the highest I ratings in the service and dirt road. Super competitive. He won last year as well. But I don't think he's going to settle for 4th place. I'd be very surprised if he settles for 4th place.
I do too, but I think the big points are handed out here in a matter of another 20 seconds when we get to that feature race. So I think that Connor, being a real-world racing driver, he's able to kind of separate himself from the helmet, separate himself from the race car, if you will, and he sees the big picture. You got to make it to the feature and actually have a good starting spot if you want the big points.
Again, this is going to be your starting grid for our feature race. Drivers to watch out for, our drivers that we've mentioned. Trenton Briley is going to want to move forward. Greg Johnson, another driver that wants to move forward. If you're watching this and you're going, wow, this looks fun, I want to get my hands dirty, no pun intended, you can head over to iRacing.com right now. New members 40% off. And if you're an existing member and going, can't really get enough, Pro 2 lights are free. They're at Wild West this week, and that is the best track combo for that rookie series. And the Pro 4 truck fixed series at Crandon has been popping off all week because of this Crandon Championship.
Looks like we've got our official feature starting grid, and right now your pole sitter is going to be Dane Culver with Nicholas Dashley lined up next to him. Crystal King starting in 3rd place with Connor Berry in 4th. Trenton Briley in that number 3 truck will start from 5th with Oliver Golding in 6th place. Tyson Miller in 7th with Tom Grady from 8th. Bad Countryman in 9th and Matthew Lind in 10th. And 10 cars round out that front row here. In 11th, we have Cody Vanderveer. William Findling starting in 12th. Timothy Messimer in 13th. James Burke in 14th. Daniel Solo in 15th. Miles Morth 16th. Greg Johnson 17th. Evan McFarland 18th. And Zach Blanche rounding out the 19 Pro 4 trucks.
Keep an eye on those back 9 trucks. I'm sure almost all of them either the outside looking in or barely in, as we are green. This is your last chance. Points are paying out tonight, and only 20 will make it to the top split of the Super Session. As not the best start for Nicholas Dashley. On the flip side now, Dane Culver's going to be the one to try and get the whole shot as they are piling into each other behind them, but everybody seems to have survived, with Evan McFarland, Zach Blanche being the only casualties.
Oh, and there's another truck spun around and then make an impact getting up, and and there's another one going tumbling head over heels there in the Ponce turn, heading into the gravel pit for the first time. Look at them spread out. I think that's 6, maybe even 7 wide coming out of there.
Connor Berry to the back of that. I ended up getting shuffled back into the 9th. Evan McFarland, Zach Blanche, Daniel Solo, Miles Morris being your victims of our Potawatomi turn 1 as we technically take our first lap, as they are 4 wide coming out of Calamity Corner. If they hold it, I'm going to be stunned. Connor Berry to the outside. He's trying to make it happen, and sneaking through all that is the old Canadian Greg Johnson up in a 6th place.
It is just a scrap in the middle of the field, and Connor Berry, we say his name so much here, but he finds himself buried right now in 9th place. Yes, you got 10 laps to work your way forward, but he's got his work cut out for him.
There is no time like now. Go, go, go. Everybody's still piled in together as we are 3 wide coming out of Cowboy Corner. Greg Johnson being the one that benefited from that kerfuffle. Trenton Briley now to the inside of Matthew Linde. And unfortunately for Evan McFarland, he's not going to be able to move on, but Matthew would love to be the teammate of Evan McFarland to be able to make it into that Super Session. He's trying to hold 2 of the hungriest drivers in short course racing and iRacing, Connor Berry and Trenton Briley behind him.
And you saw that number 1 truck try to slip to the inside, but then backed out of it. He's going to throw it up the inside of gravel pit, but Trent Briley actually gets into the truck in front of him. That's going to allow Connor maybe a little bit of a run, but I'm really surprised this CBR #1 truck, it's not moving forward as quickly as I thought.
Everybody's still piled in together, but Connor's once again, just kind of being the result of everybody else's mistakes. He's getting used up by everybody. That's Tyson Miller now moving ahead. He's got James Burke and Oliver Golding side by side behind him. So not the best start for Connor Berry. He's got the speed to be able to still get a good finish, but he's going to run out of time as he says, I didn't really particularly like that, Tyson. Giving the door, and he ends up getting Trenton. Trenton trying to block Tyson. It's not happening. They're going down to the Cowboy. We're about to see some sparks fly.
Watch the racecraft here. They're all going. We got 3 or 4 trucks in so deep. Look at them all smash into each other here at the Cowboy hairpin. And Connor Berry loses 2 more positions all the way back to 12th place. You see him 3 wide just behind as we head into Potawatomi turn #1. Connor Berry making a little bit of contact with Timothy Messimer right in front of him.
Another driver that's needed a good finish, Cody Vanderveer, Thad Countryman. They have been knocking doors as we have that big brawl behind them. Thad Countryman going to look to the inside of Cody Vanderveer. Cody Vanderveer going a little bit wide. That gives him the business. Is he going to clear him? Not quite. They are still side by side hanging down in the Calamity corner.
And this is what it's all about. Look at the big gap between them and that mid-pack fight as these two argue it out. So they can do this. They can lean on each other a little bit as Thad Countryman is that lead truck. Cody Vanderveer ditching a front left fender off of that Pro 4. Hey, it's just a little bit of fiberglass. A little bit of lightness never hurt anybody.
Again, you do have a little bit of issues when you do start losing parts. You can get some toe damage, some camber damage, a little bit of aero damage, but you don't lose anywhere near as much speed as you would on asphalt. You can still fight. You can still hold your position. You can still get away from the trucks behind you. And for this top 5, I think that is goal #1 because we've seen it already. That battle is not over behind them by a long shot.
No, we kind of have 3 groups right now. We got a trio up front of Dashley, King, and Culver, and then we've got that battle we were just watching of Countryman and Vanderveer. But this pack right here, it's about 8, 9 trucks deep, and I feel like if you're at the front of this and you get pushed off of that racing line, Keenan, you're in that slippery stuff, and all of a sudden you're going to lose multiple positions.
Let's take a look at what happened at the start. We were calling it all week long. This was going to be one of the craziest land rush starts in the Potawatomi turn 1, and we lost 4 really competitive drivers, and a lot of them really needed good finishes, Joey.
So here it is. It's all going to compress from the middle of the track down to the inside. Look at the outside. You see 2 go up into that K-rail, and it doesn't end right there. Into turn #2, this Ponce turn, more contact. I think we had 2 or 3 cars turned around once again.
Speaking of cars getting turned around, Trenton Briley just got spun around. He's the one now that needs to be on the back foot. He got spun, took some trucks with him. So that's Trenton Briley added to the list of drivers of Daniel Solo, Evan McFarland, and Zach Blanche that unfortunately had really good chances at good finishes. They're going to have to hope for a miracle now.
Ooh, big slider from Dane Culver right there to take away P2 from Crystal King and the Cowboy hairpin. That was nicely executed. Just got really late on the brakes, slid right in front of that white and red #4 truck, and moves himself up in second.
Crystal, your current points leader before this race concludes, she will be making top split super session tomorrow. She just needs another solid finish to kind of prove a point. She's increased her speed so much in the last year. She's become somebody who's been a solid midfield driver to somebody who is a threat in every single off-road race she enters. And she's proving it against one of the young guns of the discipline, Dane Culver, who's trying to get up there and mix it up with a former pro driver, Nicholas Dashley.
And trust me, if you've raced off-road trucks before, you will recognize a lot of these names, including Crystal King, right? She has been doing this for a few years now. It's not like she's all of a sudden new to it. She is a familiar face.
Again, let's take a look at what happened to Trenton Briley. No fault of his own coming down into Calamity Corner. Just going to try to make a move on the 12 machine. I believe that is Greg Johnson. Gives him the business, bounces off, and catches that wall. We saw it early with Terry Miller. Everybody behind him, Joey, you have no choice. It's like being a bumper-to-bumper track. If you lift, you're getting hit by the truck behind you. You better just stay full throttle and hope for the best.
That inside concrete wall is such a doozy. You can really get that right front tire on it, and then all of a sudden that rubber grabs the concrete, and like you saw, it just kind of pulls the front end of the truck around. And Yeah, if there's anybody behind, yeah, you're just going to kind of block up the road for everybody there. Is Greg Johnson now, I believe, is making a move on James Burke. So Greg Johnson in this number 12, and actually this is the number 11 truck of Matthew Lind over Cody Vandeveer up into 5th.
Yeah, Matthew, again, coming from the rallycross world, moved over to the trucks last season, has only been getting faster and faster and faster. He'd love to be able to be in a really good spot for that super session tomorrow, but look who's behind him. Tyson Miller, one of those drivers that is on the outside looking in, who really shouldn't be. He's going to be aggressive in these last couple of laps, and he's got Cody Vanderveer to dispatch right now as they're side-by-side coming out of Calamity Corner, and Cody Vanderveer's got an issue. He drops way off the pace. I don't know if he had a slowdown or what he had there, but Tyson Miller's going to reap the spoils, and he's up to 6th.
Judging from how he got back going, I assume maybe he either got in between a gear or had a little bit of a slowdown, but he is moving back there on the racetrack. Now, this is our group up front. Dane Culver in this white and black number 10 is currently in 2nd place, chasing Nicholas Dashley, but Crystal King has yet to give up on that 2nd spot. Ever since she's been overtaken, she has yet to let go.
And she won't. Again, that's one of the things that she's needed to work on in the offseason in the last year is just getting more aggressive. She's very, very clean. But we saw in this afternoon, she knows how to pick her spots now. She knows when to get aggressive. Crystal King is the most dangerous that she's been in the last 2 or 3 years of off-road racing, and that is only going to transfer into good results. I don't think we've seen her finish off the podium all week long.
Going to get a little nerdy and really watch these racing lines, and you see the trucks hanging that outside rear tire right on that berm, kind of just riding that blue line around, because what they want to do is get that traction off of the corner. So you put that outside rear tire right up on that berm and try to drive the truck out of the corner. But what I'm seeing out of Crystal King is every single apex, she's right on it. So if there's a mistake, I say it all the time, sometimes a mistake out of your competitor is the easiest pass you can make.
Look at her hands, too, when you get a chance. No counter steer, not throwing the truck in backwards, not crazy slides. That's awesome to see on TV, and sure, it looks cool, but just like road racing, nice and smooth inputs, and everything's deliberate as Nicholas Dashley goes wide. Dane Culver and Crystal King are now in the mix, and nice, Joey, to your point, straight line exits, fire out of the corner. If the truck has all wheels pointing straight, that is the fastest way for it to accelerate.
I think we get greedy with the all-wheel drive whenever we hop in these trucks and think, yeah, they've got excellent traction, but you're right, you can still have wheel spin. You still have 900 horsepower that you're trying to put to the dirt in these trucks. So if you're calm with the accelerator, you roll onto it, yeah, you don't get the wheel spin coming out of the corner. The differentials grip up, and that's actually the fastest way around, but the track constantly changes on you, and when you got 19 trucks, it changes quite a bit faster than what you think.
And we have a battle, we have a fight towards the rear of the field. This is for about 10th spot. Greg Johnson had a great start, and he was trying to make the best of it, but he's almost getting right hooked by William Findling. William Findling to the inside. That's going to give Greg nowhere to go. Oliver Golding now to the inside trying to pick up the pieces, and they're 2-3 wide in front of him. Connor Berry only sitting in 10th with James Burke and Timothy Messimer trying to get something happening in front of him.
Yeah, Connor Berry's had a good comeback drive. He's already back up to 10th from, I think, 13th, 14th. And this is the race right here for, oh, there's a little bit of contact between the 17 and the 18 right there, as there's just a little bit of a drag race going down towards the Cowboy hairpin. These two trucks are going to be right next to each other. It's going to be a braking duel. Oliver on the inside going to slide right in front of William Findling and actually out-accelerate him on the straightaway.
So well done. That low line's so hard to hit, but if you come up to top at the end and take that line away from the truck that's up top, that is a great way to get a pass done. Textbook maneuver in the Cowboy corner from Oliver Golding as Connor Berry got 2 and 1 in the hairpin. He's up to 8th position on a charge, trying to get as many points as he can. But we'll see what he can do. Again, on the 18 now, going to have to be filled with the mirror of the 17 machine. Connor Berry, again, not where he wants to be, trying to get that number 1 machine as far up as he can to try to make the top 20 by the end of this race.
And we've had a lead change, but now Nicholas takes it back. Crystal King's going to try to take advantage, but Dane Culver was challenging, and now we've got 2 laps to go. And right in front of our leaders, the number 19 of Tom Grady. He's going to get out of the way, and hopefully out of the way of everybody before Cowboy hairpin. But look at this. It's not just 3 trucks now, Keenan. That Countryman, that 4th truck, he's right there.
You want to talk about another driver that's improved leaps and bounds in the last couple of months? That Countryman, number 2 truck in this split, over 9,000 I rating. Not very awesome to see him improve, and I guarantee you he's going to be ready to pick up the pieces if these top three decide to start getting messy with it. But again, I think Crystal King is content with just taking third place, keeping it nice and safe. She'll be in tomorrow, basically at this point, no matter what. Dane Culver's the one that's going to decide the factor of this race. Is he going to make a move on Dashley? Is Dashley going to make a mistake? We saw him go wide in Cowboy Corner. That's where it's flat up towards the top of that corner. You get no exit speed. You get no run out of the corner. Everybody behind you is going to smell blood in the water as we come towards the white flag, Joey.
Barney's got it out. 1 lap to go here in the qualifying sessions for the 2024 iRacing Crandon Championship. Nicholas Dashley leads the way. Dane Culver, Crystal King, and Thad Countryman are your top 4 right now. As we head up and over this left-hander, you got to get the drive out because the hairpin is the next turn.
Here we go. Dane Culver's going to try to make something happen here. He's got a bit of a run. We'll see if he goes for this end. Nicholas Dashley, we'll see if he goes defensive. It's all going to come down to Cowboy Corner. This will set up the tone for the rest of the lap. We saw it already today. Dane Culver to the inside. Not going to quite get it done. Tries to box out Nicholas Dashley. Dashley not having it. They're leaning on each other, heading down into Potawatomi turn 1.
And remember, the left side of the track puts you on the inside of turn number 2, but Dashley is able to slide in front of Dane Culver, so the over-under is already beginning. Watch out for the racecraft coming from that third truck, and now we've got Dane Culver up around the outside, taking the high line with the momentum.
2 corners to go, 4 trucks that can win it. Dane Culver to the lead. Nicholas Dashley doesn't want to give it up. Crystal King is sideways. She gets spun around. That Countryman's the one that strains them out. They're going to be almost 4 wide coming into Calamity Corner. Dane Culver doesn't want to get off the throttle. Nicholas Dashley trying to shut the door. He can't get it done. Crystal King to the inside. Crystal King's going to win this race. Crystal King on the last corner takes the win, wins the feature, and wins your points lead. What a finish.
I called it. Watch the racecraft from Crystal King. Here's Connor Berry coming across the start-finish line to finish in 7th. What a recovery effort from being as low as 14th, grabbing some important points. Number 7 of Evan McFarlane is going to be the last truck to cross start-finish. But Keenan, he saw it. The buffet table was open. She snagged it and walked out with the checkered flag.
And I got to guarantee you, Joey, she saw that coming all the way back in gravel pit. She got a big hit from Thad. Thad came on the radio and said, sorry, lifted out a little bit. But Dane and Nicholas were leaning and leaning and leaning, and neither one of them wanted to give an inch. And Crystal sitting back there just scheming. She had to have known that was coming. And sure enough, bounced off the inside wall and said, thank you, gentlemen, and we'll be walking away. It's the lady on top step of the podium tonight, Crystal King, proving why she's led the points all week. She will be your winner tonight in Crandon.
Holy smokes, just a fantastic race. That Countryman coming home in 2nd place. Really a fantastic race, up 7 positions from where Thad started. Nicholas Dashley, who won that sprint race, comes home with a podium finish in 3rd. Dane Culver in 4th. Matthew Lind in 5th. Tyson Miller with a 6th place finish. You heard me say Connor Berry with a nice little recovery drive to finish in 7th, with Cody Vanderveer in 8th, Timothy Messemer in 9th, and Oliver Golding in 10th.
Rounding out the last of your field, James Burke, William Findling, Greg Johnson, unfortunately not capitalizing on that good start. He got caught up in the blender in the middle of the field. He'll be at 13th. Trenton Briley is pretty well the last truck without issues except for that spin. And then here's the drivers that had issues on lap 1. Miles Morse and company. Unfortunately for them, they'll have to see whether the magic 8-ball determines whether they're in or they're out for tomorrow. But wow, we knew it was going to be, again, this is going to be your last lap. Crystal King and last lap moments. Name a better duo for this week.
It's been something else, and she's definitely put in the laps, put in the races, and obviously the experience is paying off. And this is where I love to get nerdy, is really analyze these racing lines, analyze the racecraft that goes on. And you called it perfectly, Keenan. These front 2 trucks got into each other. She saw it all happening from a couple corners back. It actually starts right here in the Cowboy hairpin with these 2 really getting into it. She just kind of sits back, waits for more fireworks to happen, and they definitely did.
So it wasn't too aggressive at this point. It looks like Dane doesn't get the move done and realizing he's going to have to start giving the door to Dashley. Dashley didn't find that very, very sporting, and they're dooring each other all the way down into Potawatomi. Like we said, Joey, Crystal at this moment's got to be thinking, think he could win this race. She even takes a look to the inside here. I don't know if she was actually trying to go for a move or just force a mistake from those League 2 drivers, but it really all kicks off in gravel pit.
And they got a really poor run because they were side by side out of the Ponzi turn there. And now you're going to see contact between all 4 trucks. The number 2 ends up backing out of it, but it was the drag race between the 10 and the 8 headed into Calamity Corner where it all unfolded.
Yeah, again, they're just not willing to give an inch. Those top 2 bounce off the inside wall. They're leaning on each other. Thad's got nowhere to go. Crystal King gets the run, and it still wasn't guaranteed. Look at the finish for second, too, between Thad Countryman and Nicholas Dashley. Throw a blanket over the top 4. What a race.
And
wow.
I want to give even more credit, Keenan, right here, because you see how she left the inside open for Countryman on that number 2 truck. She saw that coming. She knew it was going to happen. She still left room, and she crossed the line first.
I have never been more excited for an interview in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, we have your winner from the final qualifying race in this Crandon Championship. Crystal, can just talk me through that last lap.
Wow. It was pretty crazy. I was trying to just be patient that whole race. I didn't want to get into Dane too much because I didn't want to cause like a ripple effect. I know Thad was coming behind me pretty fast, so I was just trying to ride my line, stay patient, and hopefully wait for the door to open, and it did, and yeah, that's pretty crazy.
At what point during that last lap did you see Nick and Dane banging doors and maybe think, I think I've got a shot at this. I think I can win this race?
Well, I kind of had that feeling. As soon as Dane passed me, after a couple laps, he started eating at Nick, and I had a feeling he was gonna, get into his quarter every now and then. And the X system is pretty broken here, and I had a lot of incident points, and I wasn't trying to like DQ everybody, and yeah, I was just trying to stay out of them as much as I can because, yeah, Nick's my teammate, and I want him to do well too, and I don't want to mess up his race as much as I want to mess up anyone else's. But yeah, I knew something was going to happen either in gravel or Calamity, and a lot happened in gravel and a lot happened in Calamity, and I'm just glad I was able to be there and take the opportunity that came.
So you've led the points for the majority of the day. You're going into our super sessions tomorrow as the points leader. What's the preparation process now looking like for you?
I don't know, just keep doing what I've been doing, jumping on for a few laps before the race. I'm pretty confident here. With doing the World Championships for 2 years, I've done a lot of laps here, so there's not much more I can do other than just get ready for the race and make sure that I make good mental decisions while the race is going, because it really is going to come down to the last couple laps, and you got to make sure you put yourself in a really good position coming up to that, as you clearly saw right there.
Crystal, it's been a treat watching you all week and see your progression. You've come so far in the last couple of years in the short course world. Congratulations and best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks. Tomorrow's going to be pretty crazy. It's going to be fun. I want to shout out my team, Factory Sim Sport, for a great truck. Good job, Nick. And shenandoahshine.co. Check it out for merch. It's for a great cause. And yeah, thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Joey, this is your first race that you've sat on this week, and I think you got the cream of the crop, my friend. We actually, even on top of that, you've caught up with another driver from this race.
Yeah, standing by here with Connor Berry. It's nice of you to finally show up at the virtual Crandon. I understand that you've had some real-world commitments, and can you maybe talk to us a little bit about how difficult that is to just hop out of the real thing and then come and race here virtually at the top split?
Yeah, it definitely was tough just because I actually have not been on my sim for like a bit, so it definitely was tough. But we showed up and we qualified in first, and it definitely was it was a battle out there, and there was definitely a lot of doors.
I saw that you fell back pretty far in the feature race. You were able to hang out inside the top 4 in that sprint race, but I think you were all the way back to like 14th or something in the feature. What did you do? Did you just kind of take a mental reset and say, hey, I need to work my way forward? Or were things falling into place for you out on the racetrack?
I would say it was probably a bit of both. The biggest thing was just trying to be smart. Our speed was good, and was trying just to avoid like all of the carnage. So yeah, I think we fell back to like 16th, and we got up to 7th. So I think we should be in now. So I'm glad that it's done with, and I'm glad that we are here. So yeah.
Well, I just got to say thank you for coming out and racing with us, you know, especially a previous off-road champion, and we're going to look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
That was Connor Berry driving the #1 truck for a change.
Man, it's his team in the Nitro Circus and racing team's got to be really proud that he shows up and deals with all that adversity and is able to recover and make that top 20. I believe in Connor. He's such a skilled driver, but at one point there I wasn't quite sure. Kept his head cool, kind of made me prove me wrong, as here is your top 20. Evan McFarland's going to sneak in, but we'll get to that in a second with Crystal King dominating almost all week, and with that win will be #1 in points, with Thad Countryman second and Nicholas Dashley third. Dane Culver is 4th place, with Sean Winkler going from 1st back down to 5th. That'll round out your top 5, and again, towards the back end of that field, some interesting stories playing out, Joey, with people like Evan McFarland, who I think had no hope getting in by the skin of his teeth, just 14 points.
Well, and then you also see Cody Vanderveer that's in there in P14. Connor Berry snuck his way in this only qualifying session that he showed up to. He's sitting there in 12th. So, yeah, as long as you're here in the top 20, you're going to make the big show. But trust me, you can still race tomorrow even if you're not inside that top 20.
Yeah, again, there will be splits for everybody. There will be racing. If you've participated this week, you can still jump in and get in. Unfortunately, we might see them towards the end, but unfortunately, we might be seeing the last of Terry Miller. Unfortunately for Cody Winecki, did not make top split. He'll only be 22nd. Bummed to not see him make it. One of my favorite drivers here in the short course world. Daniel Solo's unfortunately going to be just a little bit short. Our good friend Wes Graham's not going to be in it. Greg Johnson had that great start and just couldn't make the best of it. But a couple of these drivers, again, just so close. They'll be able to race in second split, and if nobody shows, we have some drivers missing, they might get bumped up to top split, but just so close and yet so far.
I think that's just the name of racing, Keenan. You got to keep improving out there. You got to keep learning. I mean, you heard it from Connor Berry. He fell all the way back in that race, but sometimes you just got to have things fall together on the racetrack, and all of a sudden you'll find yourself up there fighting with the big boys. And doesn't matter if you're in the top split, second split, third split, you're still going to go out there and race Crandon, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we were spoiled, and these were just preview races. We are spoiled to be able to get 2 super sessions tomorrow, one at 11 a.m. Eastern time and one at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So the same times we've been driving all week, and 2 chances to watch these drivers battle it out to see who is your champion at Crandon.
It's going to be a ton of fun, and remember, it's that same format, 6 laps, 10 laps, so there's lots of racing still to go on, and there's nothing better than pro trucks at Crandon. Honestly, if it was me, I would love to be out there at the real world Crandon watching those pro trucks go around. That is a bucket list item, but hey, if I can't be there, you're going to be dang sure I'm here at the virtual Crandon.
Make sure to come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And congratulations once again to Crystal King with one of the best off-road finishes I think I've ever seen in the iRacing service, taking home the win, and will be your #1 seed for tomorrow.
It's going to be an exciting one here, Keenan, and I think that's going to be pretty much wrapping us up. Take the highlights away here, as we've got all 19 trucks, and it wasn't always the smoothest going into Potawatomi Turn 1.
It wasn't, but it's all come down to this. No more qualifiers. It's all to play for tomorrow. 2 more races, 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Who will be your champion at Crandon? We'll find out Saturday. As stay tuned and come back tomorrow as we will have more short course action. Thank you for joining us. For the entire iRacing production team, my name is Keenan Kuzin, joined by Joey Atterbury. We'll see you next time.